No, he shouldn't do nothing. You should be able to say what you wanted. You should be able to say your piece, and nobody should be able to lay hands on you for that. But at the same time, you're asking for somebody to be reprimanded and some action to be taken against somebody for saying what they want to say. It's cool when you do it. It's a problem when they do it. What's going on, Sweet Dreams Nation? Well, there we have it. We just had UFC 297 finish up this weekend in Toronto, Canada. We have a new middleweight champion. We have a new bantamweight champion in the women's division. I'm going to be honest. For the most part, there ain't really much to talk about for the card. Just being honest, as a fan watching the card, the card was very underwhelming, very uneventful, we'll say, and it wasn't without its controversies, if you will. There were some good fights on the prelims. The girls, shout out to the Canadian girls, they were the only ones that was able to catch a dub on home soil, which I'm pretty sure one of them lives in like Florida or whatever, but whatever. Some decent fights on the prelims. The main card, pretty much a kind of like a snooze fest for the most part. If I'm gonna go through it, I think Arnold Allen won. Chris Curtis when McCondre fight was all right. What was it? Neil Magny comes out and is the most frustrating guy to watch if you actually want to see him win. He was able to hold out stall out another prospect. Guy blew his load early, and Neil took whatever he had beating on him, whatever pause. And that then we had probably one of the worst title fights that I've ever seen in the co-main event. Just something, whenever I seen it, it just didn't seem real that this is actually championship level or being considered championship level MMA in fighting for our sport. It was a sad display of MMA, and the fact that somebody can be crowned a champion off of that performance, to me, was just like kind of sad. Whatever. Like, I feel whenever you come up and show up as a champion, there's a certain level that you need to perform to, and that's incumbent upon both people in that fight. And I don't think that was met whatsoever. The main event. First, I'll just say I had Sean winning that fight. I had Sean winning rounds 1, 3, and 5. I thought it was 2-2 heading into the 5th, and I think Sean did enough to win that 5th round. But however, I don't think it was a robbery. It was a close enough fight to where you couldn't call it a robbery. My only problem with it was the fact that it's a championship fight. I think if you beat the champ, you have to beat the champ. And I don't think that was what happened on Saturday, for the most part. And this is just, I'm going to be real. This is not just a regular just reaction or champ chat. It's going to be a real behind the reels, because some things happened last week during fight week. Well, as far as the reporter who had some loaded questions for Sean Strickland, looking to try to paint him in a bad light, and some people in his response, which I think was fair and honest, some people decided to take some shots at that. Former ESPN reporter Dan, whatever his name is, and then a bunch of his guys on their panel, they decided to take their shots at Sean Strickland, MMA, Dana, the UFC, ESPN, and just all of us as a whole. So, I figured it'd be fitting to round up some of my people and for us to talk about it. I think with that happening, how it did, the decision, like it being close, and usually whenever it's close, the champion usually takes it. I can't say that some of these things that people may not have liked about Sean or that Sean has to say could have possibly played a factor in that. I'm not saying completely it did. Maybe they just saw the fight as Drake is winning, but you can't ignore the fact of like, we're going to get through it. When we get into this, you see the type of outrage and type of things that people felt towards him. And then for certain things, we'll see. But for right now, I'm going to open up the panel. I'm going to let y'all know. I'm going to introduce my people who are here to help break down and talk about this with me. As y'all know, to my right, we have the lovely Adair.
Hey, guys.
Co-host of the,
War Council.
War Council, host of the War Council. My bad, y'all. I'm ready to get into this. We got my man Tom.
going on, y'all?
Tommy. We grew up together. A lot of y'all may not know. We grew up together. This has been my man since I was a kid. We done been through the trenches and everything together. And then we got my man behind the magic, behind the camera, Mr. Quan 5'9", 4'9".
5'9".
5'9".
You got it right. You got it right.
Oh yeah, I be looking at him the whole 49ers thing. That's a whole separate issue. We ain't even gonna get into that. And we got the man. We got my man in business, partner in crime, Mr. Brian Butler.
What's up, guys? Came here to keep you safe, but then you told me what you were talking about, and you got me pissed off. So.
Yeah, man. So pretty much, we all here. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna go through the video, and we're gonna give our thoughts on it, break it down a little bit, cause it's a wild one. This is definitely some crazy things. Just the mindset of these individuals and the things that they're yelling and clamoring for is utterly ridiculous. As any American, you would seriously have a problem with these things. I'm not gonna try to tell you how to feel or anything like that. But let's get into it.
Champion in the UFC, StuGotz, and this sport, and I've said this before, this sport is the gutter. It is a very bad, ugly business, and it is now being run by a person in Dana White who allows all of this to go on and takes the lane of profiting, of allowing his champion to speak this way in a press conference where he's wearing a shirt. I believe the shirt says "Women in the Kitchen and Guns in Every Hand," I believe is the shirt that he is wearing. And then listen to how he responds. This is a champion, StuGotz. This is
now right out the gate. You see the gutter. The sports in reference to our sport, and allowing the allowance, we're allowed to speak, we can't say nothing unless say something or anybody. These dudes clearly don't believe in free speech. So the very basic constitutional rights that people should have, they clearly don't believe in those. What he's doing right now is calling for Sean to be reprimanded because he disagrees with what he says, because he has a different opinion and a different view than what you may have. You feel that the people that Sean makes money with or has a way of creating a living or anything that can affect his life should do something about it.
Well, they act like the sport you guys are in should be able to dictate your views. Since he's an athlete and if it was sanctioned, you wouldn't be allowed, how does that make sense? So he can't believe in women in every kitchen and guns in every hand, whatever, because he's an athlete? How does that make sense?
Yeah, and the shirt, and even at that, the shirt that he's referencing is it's just it's a shirt. People make memes, people make jokes and things like that all the time. It's his own shirt. It's something that he
created,
wants to
most fighters do. Most fighters create their own merch for you to buy, and they don't always say things that people agree with. He's just
it's like a fake running for president shirt.
But here's my thing though, right? Who doesn't want a beautiful woman or a woman to make them food, to cook for them? I think most people fall in love. I believe there's a saying, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right? Where did that come from? So it's right away, you can already see the type of mindset of the programming. You know what I'm saying? The systeming of, man, it's just the mindset that's destroying society.
But not all people want that these days, right? Because some guys want another guy cooking for them. So, and that's kind of where we're at with this.
I like the shirt. When I saw it, I think I first saw it with on Nina. Nina had it. She had worn it, and they had put it on Sean's page, and I was like, "That's a cool shirt." I'm from the South, so I believe in everybody having a gun in their hand, and and when they said everybody, that means man and woman. So I like shooting too.
And now listen, and just in that first line, look at how many basic constitutional rights they already have a problem with.
A huge problem with.
We'll see. Let's get.
is a face of your sport. The sport does not have that many stars at the moment, and this guy is one of your champions. And I simply cannot imagine in football, in baseball, in basketball. I mean, hockey has an undercurrent of some of this, but it's not like this. I cannot imagine a modern athlete champion in a sport that people are covering like it's a real sport, talking like this without a reaction from the public and a backlash.
That part.
We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said, if I had a gay son, I would think I'd...
Oh, look, another reason I'm saying in the swamp, you guys, a swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and some would say...
Let me ask you something. Are you gay?
I had the chance to interact with a more diverse...
Are you gay?
Can I get an answer?
Well, I'm asking, this is a part of, are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son and he was like, he had a son, he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the problem. You elected Justin Trudeau. Like, when he sees the bank accounts, like, you're just pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone, and has he shut down your country and seized bank accounts? You ask me some stupid like that, go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
That really answered the question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said this past October when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know what, and will know what they stand for.
This guy's like that. This Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental illness, and now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way in the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And
now, just for context, I don't believe that Sean is saying this about trans people, or if you're trans, you're infection, and things like that. I believe he's speaking upon people that are pushing a certain mindset and trying to force their beliefs onto other people. Right?
Yeah,
he's
he
saying you, as in the reporter, as in somebody who reports to the masses, somebody who pushes narratives and things like that. Now, that's what I took from that.
And the fact that this guy's worried about some comment he made on the community 2 years ago when his whole country is in desperation right now. Like, he has bigger fish to fry than stupid ass questions like that. And that's why he's like,
no, this
just
reporter
a weak man.
Showed up to the event with an agenda to poke Sean,
right,
and try to get him going. Like, he's just
it's a
triggered and I don't know, this whole society. And like you said, he was not talking about trans people or gay people. He was actually pointing the finger at the media for trying to just drive the agenda.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's a bait question.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what
there's
he's
no
saying.
right answer.
That's what he's saying. You like, it's not the fact that it's the fact that he's coming with loaded questions rather than you could be reporting on other things that could be beneficial to the country, but instead you're coming here with loaded questions trying to paint me in a terrible light to try to get me reprimanded in some type of way as they're clamoring for on this show.
But see, it's media, so I don't even have a problem with the media member asking that, because he has a right to ask the questions, right? Just like Sean has a right to answer the question however he wants to answer the question. And I think that's the problem right there, is they want to be able to say what they want to say, and they want to shut you up for saying what you want to say. And I think that's the bigger issue in this country right now, is you want to censor some people, but you want free speech for whatever you want to push.
It's
and
not
whatever
just the censorship. It's driving a narrative. They're driving a narrative that isn't there. Like, when did trans stuff become such a big issue? Like, it came, like, it didn't. And they're pushing it to make it an issue every time. It wouldn't have been an issue in this UFC at all if this reporter didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
It's just constantly being pushed there to make it this gigantic issue. I don't like.
And he's
you want
also
to
saying,
but don't push that shit on people. Do whatever you want. It wasn't an issue until people started making it an issue and somehow getting on their soapbox and getting righteous and trying to be, behind everything to make themselves feel good inside for whatever reason.
Man, they just want to. It's about making people believe what you want them to believe, and that just never works. All minds aren't created the same, and all minds don't work the same. They don't look at things the same. Like, even me and you, Brian, we don't agree on everything. We don't see things the same way on certain different views, but at the same time, I'm not gonna
surprisingly we agree on a lot too, though.
Yeah, we do.
Or you respect each other's differences.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a respect. It's a certain mutual respect that I can respect that you can have your own mindset, your own opinions, and say what you want to say, even if I don't agree with them. But apparently, for some people, that's a problem.
It's most of society that's a problem now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
we've been conditioned to
at
be
least our society
overly sensitive. With
be
everything.
offended. You got to be offended by everything. Everything is an attack
access to
you.
Too much information, and they have the ability to put it out there. Social media has gotten everybody, brave to the point where anybody can make a hot topic out of anything if enough people start sharing it and trying to get behind it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the masses are swayed so easily over everything. That's the problem. A person is smart. They actually said this from Men in Black. That a person is smart. People are dumb. Like, you can convince the masses a lot easier than you can convince one individual talking to them straight up, trying to convince them that this narrative is real, versus if you got just a media outlet saying this stuff, headlining it, it's way easier. People are just hearing this over their TVs.
It's also easy to control ignorance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Extremely.
It's easy to control and manipulate ignorance.
And that's why you can catch a lot of the words that they use in this video are meant to, and what's the best way to control? Fear. They're trying to make people fear. People have fear of being hated or being or things like,
persecuted,
saying the wrong
like
thing,
saying the wrong
getting
thing,
canceled,
being attacked, and things like that. For that people, this is like a legitimate fear, and I feel like a lot of the words that they use were used to try to incite fear and try to incite rage and things like that in their audience. So we can keep going.
The best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your peddling. The world is not saying, you know what, you're right. Chicks have. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the enemy. You want to look at the enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there.
The reporter.
Now, obviously, that's hateful. Obviously, it needs to be denounced. Obviously, it's appalling.
Denounced by who?
But right there, they're saying obviously. He's using those words obviously and putting that in his listeners' heads then and there. That it's hateful. He uses the word hateful to just automatically. So that's the first thing he says coming from that.
So if you disagree, then you're hateful. Then you're hateful too, and you're automatically you're condemned by if you don't denounce it, if you don't do as he says, if you don't believe what he believes.
Well, no one wants to be the person who disagrees with the guy
making an issue
spewing the issue.
Nothing.
Yeah, let's keep going though.
But in that audience, StuGotz.
That audience.
What audience? What is that audience?
Now, I'm not saying it's true of everyone in that audience, but the leader in that sport allows that. The leader in that sport prides himself on everyone can say what they want. There will be no punishments here. And if there are no punishments here, as there
the whole
would
country
be
was founded off
else
that
in legitimized sports, then without consequences, you're just allowing the precedent of that continuing. And my guess is, Tony, you can speak to this. My guess is that Dana White will only be upset that he went near the Bud Light stuff, that's the only place that he'll get bothered.
Yeah, Sean Strickland has been using language like this for a long time.
Now, he didn't have a problem with that. Fighters literally call Dana out. Like, fighters literally go out publicly and they call Dana out. He has no problem with this. Hey, look, if you've ever met Dana or been around Dana in person, you will know this dude is unbothered as shit. Like, it's the type of unbothered you should strive for in your life. You know what I'm saying? So he lets people be them. He does his thing as he feels he should be able to do what he wants to do. And he allows us to do as we should do, as we should be able to do, as you please. You know what I mean? And it's not absolved from consequence, because if certain people, certain sponsors, certain money won't come your way for saying certain things, we know that and we understand that. But the fact that you think he should just be shut down and stumped down and not have anything is ridiculous.
He gives you the platform to create your own consequences.
Exactly.
And if people really don't like what Sean said, then tune him out and see what happens. But I have a funny feeling he's going to end up with a bunch of support from a lot of companies are going to get behind Sean Strickland for saying the things that, you know, everybody's thinking.
And behind these companies are real people with real families and real values as well. And a lot of them agree with the things that he's saying. So it's like,
well, see, here's the thing. So the athletes are not employees of the UFC.
No,
you are your own business. You're your own, what was it, contractor?
Yeah, we're independent contractors.
So it would be different if you guys were employees of the UFC. I'm sure certain employees cannot say certain things and get on the mic and
but they signed a disclaimer for that, or
But you're fighters and you're your own personality. That's what makes fighters.
That's what makes it great.
And you're right. And Dana White does not get in the way of you either benefiting from that or hurting yourself from that. He absolves himself of any responsibility of what other people are saying or acting.
And another thing is, notice in this video, they not once, it's hateful. And what exactly? Pinpoint exactly what he's saying is hateful, why it's hateful, and what the problem is with it. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't just say obviously, because when Sean was saying things in that video, he went into detail of what he meant and why he said what he said.
Well, I mean, and wait till that other guy talks. Like, it's insane. Like, they're talking about hate and hate and hate, and now he should be shut down for hate.
Wait till we play that. But yeah, man, it's just like, let's just keep going.
Long time. It's just he's always kind of been the guy who's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th ranked, so you don't really hear from him. All of a sudden, his ascension into superstardom with busy beating Israel Adesanya has put him in the limelight, where a lot of his words now are getting shown to people across multiple social medias. Like, Sean is a guy that speaks whatever is on his mind, as you can see. Like, this is some of the lighter stuff, by the way. If you actually
that's
know
the
Sean,
lighter stuff.
Yes,
that's one of the worst sound clips we've ever played on this show.
So soft ass.
You know what I mean?
Duplessis, who he's fighting this Saturday, which is basically the only fight on the card that matters. Dan, I think that's an important distinction here, because nobody else on that card is really going to buy pay-per-views. People are not going to want to see them. This back and forth between Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland is why you're buying this fight. So when you have Sean Strickland going up there and talking, yeah, they're going to kind of give him carte blanche because they need to sell this fight.
Why do we do this?
Hyperventilating ass,
Man, I know.
And that dude talking was the only one that actually watches MMA on their show. He does an MMA show. They watch, the UFC events and stuff like that. So he knows who he's talking about with MMA. I don't think anyone else on there even watches MMA at all.
Again, what did he say that was so crazy? That was the craziest clip y'all ever played? That dude, man, you're killing me, Smalls looking ass boy.
Boring ass podcast.
This boy's soft as hell, man. Like, this is the worst clip we've ever, like, come on, bro. Like, you can't tell me sitting around joking with your boys, y'all don't have a sense of humor? Y'all don't say things that are edgy?
Well, this had to have been the first.
You know what I mean?
It had to be the first press conference they've ever watched. If this is the worst clip. I mean, when the last one of Colby Covington talking about Leon Edwards' father,
right?
Like, there's so many things that are said on that panel.
They did say they don't like Kobe in this clip later on in the clip.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that really the worst clip that's ever been played?
No,
on their show.
No.
And
it's the most raw, unedited.
Well, I don't know.
No, we can't say hateful.
We can't say no. We can't say no because I don't watch your fucking show.
Yeah,
I don't watch your show. You know what I mean? This ain't clearly is not my. That's not my lane. I like. That ain't my lane.
Well, these press conferences get pretty heated. So
yeah, man. We and all the while he's talking about this is the gutter. Did he say this about boxing? Like,
or any other sport?
Like, did he say this about hockey when they're out there with sharp blades, can cut and out there fighting and things like that? That's the people literally go to hockey just for them to fight.
I love
but
hockey
we're
fights.
the gutter. What makes us the gutter?
You're the least constrained. Your freedom.
Hold on. We have families. We have dreams. We have things that we want in life too. So for you to just point us out and say we're the gutter because you don't like it or you're not man enough to actually handle a little bit of sport that's a little bit of edgy, because football is violent. People get concussions every Sunday. Like, come on, man. For you to sit there and try to talk about that. And then, now one thing I do remember, I do recognize the guy from a show he was on ESPN. I believe his dad was on ESPN, right? This is the
they were
guy
on
that did the
ESPN.
show with his dad on ESPN. Yep. Right. He used his dad. And the only reason why, like, you want to talk, like, what reason did you have to have your dad on the show? He wasn't an analyst. He didn't know anything about sports or anything like that. You used your dad as a prop because he had an accent and he was foreign and he says wild and crazy things that people probably didn't agree with. They probably didn't even think he should be on the show or have airtime like that. But yet and still for years, you were able to do this. You thought that was okay. You had no problem with any of that. Like, come on, bro. We talking about the guy who you used your dad as a prop, bro. Keep playing the show.
We do this with Colby Covington. This is really like also the only way we approach mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
and
negatively.
It's not that interesting of a topic to me. It's like, how does Dana White allow this? We know where Dana White's politics reside. He's spoken articulately, honestly, on why he allows this stuff.
You can see him starting to get triggered.
That clip, which I agree, Chris, that's as hateful a clip as I've heard on this show. And I was aware of it.
Y'all creating a more hateful.
All these guys are
I
married?
saw quotes of it.
Yeah, bro. All these dudes are married.
How do they, any of them have women?
Pause. Hey, yo, that's what I know. That was one of the main things I know. All of these dudes are married. So y'all wives don't cook?
Wait, just because they got a ring and they're married,
y'all don't have no way to. Y'all don't believe in protecting y'all household?
But it doesn't mean they're married to women, bro.
True that. It doesn't matter who they're married to. How do they attract anybody? Those are the most beta males I've ever seen.
They attract other beta males.
Yeah, because that's one thing. If it's one thing that I know about women, women are attracted to provision and security, right?
Is that right or there?
Yeah. Oh,
they're attracted to provision, security. Most women want to cater to their man. They want to make them feel good, like cooking food, my boy. You have a problem with him wanting his girl to cook for him and having a gun to protect the house that she cooking in? Who married y'all?
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be honest. I assumed that they did not have wives, and I don't. I
got wedding rings on.
I didn't notice. I just from the type of men that I'm used to being around, including the men I grew up with. There's certain things they don't say and there's certain ways they don't act, you know? So I just assumed it was just a group of guys.
I'm sure that those guys, I mean, especially if they come from wealth, they have someone cooking in security. Ask them who their cooks are.
Nah, bro, because here's the thing though. Like I said, women are attracted to protection and provision. They ain't protecting shit. So they obviously have money to provide. And usually she probably tell you don't talk back.
Right.
You know what I mean? They not like that ain't that ain't leadership.
If they really have a problem with that or if they're just weighing on the side of whatever society says is wrong right now. So it's just
whatever side that's also the problem. People feel like if you even lean towards one side, you gotta
be on that side.
Oh yeah, you're all the way over there.
You can't.
Here's small time. They kick your ass right off the leg. You can't be like, okay, I kind of understand. You can't have an open mind like they want you. They
That's
only
why
want
there's
you to
no
have
agreements anymore. No one agrees.
They only want you to have an open mind about the things that they agree with. They only want you to have an open mind about the things that they want. But yeah, we can keep going. This is funny. Hey, go back some. Yeah, rewind. Go back some. Let's go back like 10 seconds.
I have a feeling there's going to be so much we're going to want to pause on with these guys. It's going to take 4 years to get through this video.
You said what?
He said
I said there's going to be so many things that annoy us about these people that we're going to be pausing like every 15 seconds. And it's going to take like 4 hours to get through this video.
Man, bro, shit, the longer the better. Fuck it.
These fucking
honestly,
guys.
on why he allows this stuff. The fact that we played that clip, which I agree, Chris, that's as hateful a clip as I've heard on this show. And I was aware of it. And I saw quotes of it. I wasn't prepared for how I would feel after seeing 2 minutes of it. Fuck that guy. Fuck him. He's a stupid motherfucker who is hateful. And the fact that he's not suspended, where he gets suspended in any other sport, hell, forget sport. In most
you gotta pause it, bro. You gotta pause it. Fuck that guy. Hey, fuck you, buddy.
Is that not hateful?
That's very fucking hateful.
Is that not a hateful thing to say?
That was pretty fucking hateful. Hey, and fuck you, guy.
When you say fuck you to somebody, you are basically sending them to the lowest point in your mind, in your life, in your reality. Is that not a
hateful statement? Let's not forget that he's a stupid motherfucker. He's a stupid motherfucker. God damn it. Like, come on, bro. Like, and then here's the thing, right?
That's the hypocrisy.
Now now it's funny that they're saying this, right? They're saying this and clamoring for somebody to be held accountable and be reprimanded for what they're saying. Shouldn't you be reprimanded for what you're saying? Now, here's the thing, and this is just me saying this, and I hate to have to be the one to always bring this up, but it's just a reality. I live in reality. You get what I'm saying? But the fact that you're saying, oh, fuck that guy, he's a stupid motherfucker. Let's say you and Sean are face to face. He feels some type of way about that. What deserves to happen there? In your mind, because based off of your logic, something should happen based off of you saying something. If he did, I'm pretty sure he disagrees with. We would disagree with what you said. No, and now I'm going to condemn this because I already know it's going to be people. No, he shouldn't do nothing. You should be able to say what you wanted. You should be able to say your piece, and nobody should be able to lay hands on you for that. But at the same time, you're asking for somebody to be reprimanded and some action to be taken against somebody for saying what they want to say. Shit. It's cool when you do it. It's a problem when they do it.
That part.
Let's keep it going.
Hypocrisy.
At least
let's go
get
back
you
a little
suspended
bit.
is an
At
indictment
the
on
least.
the company. I wasn't
Take
prepared for
everything
how
from them.
I would feel after seeing 2 minutes of it. Fuck that guy. Fuck him.
You gotta stop.
He's a stupid motherfucker who is hateful. And the fact that he's not suspended,
hateful,
where he'd
buddy.
be suspended in any other sport, hell, forget sport. In most companies, that shit would at the very least get you suspended, is an indictment on that company. It's publicly traded, by the way. So Endeavor and TKO, you should answer for this in ways that he hasn't had to.
He's going to the
You know how they can answer for it? You don't have to watch.
Though, Mike, the people
God
need to hear
damn it,
we're
Brian.
all in our silos. We're all speaking to our own people with our
bleep
own
it
set
out.
of facts. It's not- it can't.
I
just
don't need,
exist.
Dan, I will stop you right there. I don't need Sean Strickland to let me know that there's hate in this world. I open up Twitter for that. I don't. I don't. At a certain
In
point, you
sports-
got to say, fuck that guy.
That's fine, but that's where the discourse is in this country
Well,
right
fuck
now.
you, guys.
What- that gets-
You don't think that was saying fuck you to everybody else?
Of
That's not a
course it was.
discourse. That's pure hate.
You're flat out saying
whatever,
it.
dude.
You're
Tell
flat
me,
out saying
as
it.
many people do.
Like, it's crazy that you're this worked up, but you're being like, bro, this is a hypocrisy. He should be suspended, all these and that. Oh, by the way, they're traded publicly. Oh, maybe what? So people should probably take their money out of the stocks. Like, what do you want here, bro? You're literally trying to come at people's life, come at this man in a company's livelihood because you don't like what they say. All sauced up about it.
Don't watch
Jazzy
MMA
even.
then.
Bro, he had Karen mode activated.
Bruh.
And action.
I don't want politics with my sports and continually go to athletes and champions for their opinions
that's the
on
issue.
things. Listen to it from LeBron James and people object to it there and tell him to shut up and dribble and then simply ignore when something like this is happening. I think it needs to see the light. It needs to beyond the
Right.
platform there that
Is they're telling him to shut up and fight?
Yeah.
Right. Right. And then not only that, like, think.
Say it. We could edit it out.
Think about it. Think about it.
Bro.
Be nice.
We could edit. We could edit.
It's getting worse, man. If we don't get a grip on society, we're going to hell in a handbasket, man. I cannot take the way people are so sensitive and trying to do so much control and manipulation to ignorant side of society that is just caving to all this crap. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, bro. And the crazy thing is, right? He considers us the gutter and not a legit sport and all these things. And we should be like this. Had it been any other sport, this would have happened. So we should just set up, like, essentially, like my man said, you telling him he should just shut up and fight. So we should be like other sports that shut down freedom of speech. Like, I'm not understanding where he's trying to keep drawing all these comparisons from these other sports, like the comparisons that he's bringing up, is a good thing. I don't get it. We keep going.
He's on where it's normalized and it's more acceptable because he's speaking to his audience.
And we are a guilty party, Dan, and we are a guilty party in allowing this conflation of hate and politics. That right there is not politics.
But Mike, it can't
it's
be
become politics.
No, Mike.
That is pure hatred.
Mike, what Dan is saying, it is hatred. It's disgusting. But what Dan is saying is you can't want politics and sports mixed up, but it only be your politics.
And I'm telling you, it's not politics. Up until like 8 years ago, it wasn't politics. And we've allowed for it to be political.
Y'all made it political.
I
Exactly.
know how he votes
Big
because
emotions
we've given
here.
license to people to speak like this freely.
Yes.
And when I hear all
called the
their political
Constitution.
beliefs
You're giving people
encapsulated in that, it is not political in
license.
nature.
Mike, you said
it is
hold on.
hateful.
Damn it! I hate to keep on. Y'all made it political. They're the ones. You're literally making it political now
I actually
because somebody has an opinion, a different opinion on it. You want them to lose their job, bro.
If this was not political, this would not even be an issue.
Wouldn't even be an issue.
So the fact that they're even, and this is my issue with it, because I know for a fact if this was not a topic right now in society, they would not be covering this on their show.
No, they would not.
And they would not care this much.
And that's because he said this 3 years ago, and now that he's champion and it's a topic, now they're coming at him for it.
Yeah,
That's
because
that's how you know
popular.
that it wasn't a big deal then, but it
you
is
got
now.
some status. You someone you can make some. You have some type of influence. Oh yeah, now we're coming for you. That's y'all making it political, bro. Y'all making it, and then not only that, it's just like Brian. It's just like Brian said. It's a slippery slope. This is the game that is being played to shape and mold and break down our society. This is the programming. Be triggered by everything. Oh, if somebody doesn't agree with you, do what you can to try to affect their life in any type of way.
Cancel
rather
culture.
Rather than people just work together. Try to see another person make it. Try to be a helping hand. Try to leave a situation or something better than you found it. You know what I mean? That would be the right thing to do. You talking about all this hate, bro. This whole clip has been nothing but y'all been working up, shitting on people from a different lifestyle and a different walk that y'all don't know anything about. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't care to know. Y'all just disagree with it, so you just shit on it. You know what I mean? That seems pretty fucking hateful to me. You all up yelling all this. Sean talked and articulated his points.
Freely. Not in sports, we haven't. It's
And this is
only
how y'all-
in that sport.
And this is how y'all do it.
It
This is how y'all
isn't
do it.
across sports. You cannot speak that way. That's not, and furthermore,
That's why we like
I
this
would
sport.
say that a good deal of MMA audience applauds the idea that in their sport, he can speak his mind that way.
You motherfucking right, we do.
We sure do.
Disagree with
As if
hateful
freedom
or
of
not.
speech should
And
be
so
applauded everywhere.
As a principle, because you've done this before with Colby Covington. Yes, what Tony just said at the end of that break, it is part of how you sell fights in the gutter. Boxing has always trafficked in the race stuff, and this is the natural evolution of the sport that has replaced boxing. It is part of what is used for profit in that sport. But what is your solution? To ignore it? Because I'm telling you,
because I ignore it in my everyday life. I
Until now.
ignore it. I ignore it. I get bullshit on social media. I either block it, mute it. I can ignore it.
That's
Because I
not
don't
ignoring
want that
it.
infecting
But
my
you
life.
see that?
I'm not better because
But
I
you
heard
got the
that
logic
clip.
of a 16-year-old girl.
Yep.
That has done nothing
This
for me
entire
except
panel
make
of
me
guys on
Anger
this show is
what
like the
leads-
the male
is
version
what
of the View.
leads movement toward
No,
change.
we're not
You
claiming
have
that.
No,
That ain't no
no,
male
I
version of
stand
nothing.
in.
No, not
Normalizing
us,
that kind of
them.
behavior and
The
platforming
View.
it has brought about a change.
That's
A
not
change
normal.
where someone can speak like that
Look at this guy.
freely. That's the change that has happened.
Yeah, it's a good change.
So y'all are mad that he.
Fight of the MMA.
So y'all are mad that he can speak freely.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just said it. They're saying it in their own words. They're just mad that he can speak freely.
And that sport allows him to speak like that. Mind you, that they allow this. That's up to them what he can
Yeah,
say
like
and what
Dana
they
White
can't
is some
say
cult
and
leader,
what he stands
right?
for and what he don't. That's
We should dictate that. And that's the narrative that reporter was trying to paint, and that's how they want to try to run society. They want to run it where, oh, you're going to say what we want you to say. If not, oh, you need to be reprimanded for it. How can we allow him to speak like this? You feel comfortable speaking freely like this? I feel comfortable being my own person and saying what I want to say. That's mad wild for y'all to be on there.
You want to say
that.
it too. The reporter asked the question, he answered it. Simple as that. And now they're mad at his answer.
Can we clear?
But they weren't mad at the question.
Can we clear something up about the fights? I hear this a lot. I hear that this, or for some reason, it's like the press conference. They're trying to sell the fights. They're trying to sell the fights. Am I wrong? But by this point, the fights are usually sold out.
Yes.
Am I wrong? And I know there's pay-per-view that can still take place, right? But this is the day before the fight, usually, right? When these
fighting
happen.
sells itself.
Yes.
Fighting sells itself. I don't care where you are. You could be in church. You could be in the middle of a basketball game. You could be in your best suit out having dinner anywhere. It don't matter. You could be saying your last words to somebody you really care about. A fight break out, you going and watching. You're going to see what's happening. You're going to watch. Fights sell themselves. So for you to sit there and say, oh, they got to sell the fight.
Yeah, that gets me.
Come on, bro. Good fights sell themselves. And we got plenty good action over here.
And this was what, fight 297? So they sold 296 before. And this is the one they had to spice it up.
Okay. They just have to do a bunch of bullshit just to sell. And there was a point that I thought of, and I kind of lost it. I kind of lost it a little bit in that when you were saying what you were saying
about what, selling the fights
before. Yeah, it was before.
What, it being a political issue?
Yeah,
I'll come back to you probably.
It's like you love the sport because of in octagon stuff, right? You love the martial arts, you love the striking, you love all this stuff. But then you have to also, it's the art and artist. Can you separate the art from the artist of Sean Strickland in the octagon, outside of everything that he says and does, is an excellent fighter. And if you look at the story of how he's progressed, being knocked out 2 years ago to now being the champion, like his in-octagon stuff is amazing. His turnaround is amazing. But yet we can't talk about that because of all the other shit that's happening around it. So it's tough for MMA fans where you're like, man, the stuff that's happening in the octagon is so excellent. There's such a high level of athleticism that you just can't talk about because this supersedes everything else. And again, this is just the build-up.
And that's the problem. It shouldn't supersede what the athletes are doing.
With Sean Strickland had nothing to do with the other stuff that he.
Who cares what Sean Strickland's personal life is to the MMA fans?
He went after
it's his fighting that they're there to watch.
Was talking about how Sean Strickland, who's endured his own trauma with a child abuse past, like there's a lot of stuff that we haven't even touched the surface of. But again, it all gets lost in everything that's happening.
It don't get lost in that. It wouldn't get lost in that.
Who cares? But
was Conor McGregor's personality lost?
No.
Was Sean O'Malley's personality lost?
No.
Anybody? Ronda Rousey.
But you should encourage fans to be a fan of the sport that they're participating in, not what they do outside or how their child. That's what he's saying. Like,
you only care about him for what he does. You only care about him for what he does. I'm not telling you to go out just because somebody fights well and things like that, or shoots a basketball well, or throws a football well. That doesn't mean you go and you mold your life exactly around behind that person.
Right.
Real time. To have known, because I'm making an assumption based on we want to make this a political discussion. I would love to know how Sean Strickland and his fans felt about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. I would love to know if they regurgitated keep politics out of sports.
Is that
keep
I bet you anything you want to bet? We see how y'all felt about it.
He's trying to instigate again, right there.
Yeah, bro, they're trying to bait in. But here's the thing, you've all based off of what y'all saying right now, you were on the other side of that.
Well,
we clearly see y'all didn't care. We see how y'all felt about Colin Kaepernick taking the knee.
They're talking about police brutality on minorities comparing to Sean Strickland's views on gays and transgenders. And saying those things are relatable.
It's not even what he's not.
That's
even
ridiculous.
Speaking, hold on, he's not even speaking on gays and transgender. He's speaking on the agenda and it being pushed and people being forced to think and try to agree with other people's narratives. He's arguing for people to have their own minds and their own thoughts. That's it.
He has said himself he has no problem with gays or trans. He has said it. He says he does not like society trying to force people what they should believe, regardless of the topic. He just got asked about that specific topic. If he was asked about any other topic that had to do with forcing belief system, he would have said something very similar. You know what I'm saying?
But he's trying to inflate it by going to the other topic of
that part.
I bet how he felt with taking the knee. You're going totally off topic to try to blow it up and to be a bigger topic. We could say the same thing about him. Oh, I wonder if he was a vax pusher.
Right.
That he was. You know what I mean? Like,
making it political.
He got a booster after the show.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. All in all,
and
man,
I love the sport of mixed martial arts, and it's become unavoidable.
No, he doesn't.
I don't believe.
No, he
and
does
I go
not. He doesn't
with
watch
the flow. I feel the way that I do about it. I'll give a middle finger under a table, if you will, to people
Fake
I disagree with.
Because you
I
can't
also
put it
really
above.
get
Do it
their
out
asses
front.
beat.
Under the table.
Under the table. Pause this shit, man. What the fuck, bro? What? You'll give a little middle finger under the table. Oh, I like mixed martial arts, but you sit up calling us the gutter and all of this other shit. Bro, y'all fake as hell. Who put these dudes on TV, bro? This is what y'all have called manhood. This is what manhood is now. For real, I'm gonna give a middle finger you under the table.
Like
while
a man
they
at
sit
your
up and try
teacher.
to call for somebody else to do action to somebody who just spoke their thoughts, who speaks real. So you can't be real, so you're mad at the guy that can be real?
Brian's
And he wants
cracking
someone
up.
else to take care of that guy.
Exactly, but
he
you're
says-
not even a man to handle it. Man, come on,
I've
man.
always had a problem with panels where they're yes men, which is why I was like, this is cool because we have so many people on here that I'm a woman speaking on. I'm a woman in a male dominated sport. You don't think I hear and deal with shit all the time? Do you ever see me get on camera and cry about it? It's just part. There's certain
It's part
things
of being an adult.
It's part of being an adult and dealing with shit.
Agree to
people.
disagree.
And I interview people. I've interviewed people before I came over to the sport. I can't tell you how many times I sat across from somebody I didn't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't about me, right? It's about them. I just don't understand this. I don't understand.
People should be
where
able to
we
openly
are.
talk about their both sides. That's how people meet in the middle and come up with the best solution because, there's this opinion, there's three sides to every story, your side, my side, and the truth. So you got to get everyone's point. Everyone needs to be able to say what they believe. And that's how you root out a problem.
We can't do that though. Freedom of speech.
no.
Freedom of speech is not real. It's not real. It's there and we'll say it.
It's not free.
But
it's just not free.
But
Oh,
as
yeah, there you go.
soon as you gain enough power and enough of a stage, that freedom is taken away.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed. You're truly not allowed to say what you believe. You're not. You're not allowed to even speak unless it is complementary to what is being put out there. So that whole idea is everybody at the bottom can scream freedom of speech all they want because you can do that. Nobody's watching you. As soon as cameras
But my
come on you,
man
it's
said, I'm going to give you a finger under the table, bro.
You know what it is? Where it's getting so crazy. It's getting so crazy that, look at our panel right now. Like you said earlier, it's a pretty diverse panel of people, right? Things are getting so crazy that our little room of people right now probably normally don't agree on a lot of stuff together, but it's getting so crazy that we're actually all
we all having a band together. Like everybody, like different people from everywhere. It's like, now, hold up.
Power Rangers.
Hold up.
Okay, you're going too far.
That shit sound crazy to you? That shit sound crazy to you? All right. Hey, come on now. Like,
I think especially a lot of us know what hate looks like and what hate, what somebody who's just even running his mouth. You could say Sean was just running his mouth. He was definitely not screaming hate and hateful messages and down with,
get out there.
You know what I mean?
This
Let's go out and
instruction.
freaking that's where it gets me. It's like
They give an
they're
exact
losing their
instruction
shit
that they
right
want
now.
for somebody to actually lose their livelihood. They're giving actual instructions that can affect
And they are
somebody's life.
screaming to do it.
Well,
They're
they
like,
do.
down with
They
him,
do that
down
all
with
the time.
him.
People do that all the time, and that's a major problem too. Is people want to cancel everybody that doesn't agree with them, and I think that's ridiculous. It's starting to get a little comical to be real.
There was
Oh
a
yeah, they're not even
TikToker.
hiding it. Like
There was a
it's not
TikToker
even
that-
What's crazy
secretive
is
anymore.
Who's them? Who's the one that's letting these people decide what is acceptable and not? It seems like it's a very small crowd, but
It's a
for whatever
mob.
reason, they have
Yeah.
the loudest voice.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the agenda push, bro.
The agenda. You're right.
It's part of the agenda push.
Just so loud
to where
silence.
To where, you know what I mean? To where the system essentially has the one up always. While they're sitting there arguing at this guy from that or this guy from that. This man has the ability to draw in millions of dollars, right? Rather than try to find common ground.
Are you talking about Dan?
I'm talking about Sean. I'm talking about Sean. To draw in millions of dollars rather than try to find common ground and a solution to where y'all can see what the difference is and see where y'all can work together and maybe actually make the world better. Like I said earlier, you rather not just take him. He doesn't deserve to have that. He doesn't deserve to have that. We'll just get him out of there.
It's punishment.
You know what I mean?
It's a form of punishment.
That's all it is. That's all it is. But I guarantee you, if somebody didn't like what he said and they wanted to take action against him, he would, bro.
No, he would.
We would condemn it. We would condemn it. You get what I'm saying?
Well, he would scream like, "Use your words."
So it's like, you get what I'm like. So it's like, come on, man. Because the minute somebody starts to get tired of talking and they do take action, then it's exactly. It's use your words. Use your words. And when somebody is saying words and you don't like them, try to understand, bro. Try to listen. Try to be an adult about it. Try to be
or mind your business.
Or shut the fuck up. Or shut the fuck up. If you don't like the sport, it's the gutter. Y'all don't fuck with. Shut the fuck up and do your middle fingers under the table in your lane. Because if you hadn't even crossed over here, we wouldn't even know about you, bro.
I'm gonna tell everybody that watches this sport. If you don't watch this sport or you're coming over, this is not a sport for people with thin skin. It's not. It's a very primal sport. The athletes have to be in a very primal state of mind, and they live their lives in a primal way. So they're going to say things that might sound like a fucking caveman compared to your regular guy that has to punch a clock and go do your 9 to 5.
You ever gone 24 hours without eating? Still had to work out?
I'm just saying.
Sit in a damn hot box?
There's primal things that take place, and there's going to be conversations that you don't agree with. I don't agree with everything. Me even being on this panel is not saying that I agree with everything that Sean said. I don't. I agree that he has a right to say it, though.
Right.
You ever craved a piece of ice? Have you ever craved a piece of ice? I don't want to hear nothing. Now I'm triggered.
And I love the sport of mixed martial arts. And it's become unavoidable. And I go with the flow. I feel the way that I do about it. I'll give a middle finger under a table, if you will, to people I disagree with. I also root for them to get their asses beat. Because thankfully, in this sport, there's some sort of comeuppance
praying that someone else whoops their ass.
In other places. But that is garbage of the highest order. The fact that it's a publicly traded company and they can just keep going by because they have a cult of personality at the head of it in Dana White, because he's never had to be accountable, and anytime he is held accountable, he rebuffs it because, hell, he's speaking before Donald Trump at the RNC. That is bullshit that we allow that. It's bullshit. And we can't ignore it. And we should. If there isn't going to be a punitive measure, let's move on. Move the fuck on.
But there can't be a punitive measure, Mike, if the person in charge doesn't feel anything in the way of pressure. Like there has to be
one second. Now take that into account. It's a publicly traded company, and they're able to just move along. It's not because Dana White's at the height. It's because people are real. People believe in people being able to be real and be raw. That's what people like about fighting. It's raw. It don't get no realer than this. Any bravado, any hot air you puffing, all that bullshit you talking, all that fakeness you want somebody to believe, it all go out the window in this sport. And that's what draws people in. It draws the real.
It would have never became a publicly traded company
and real and raw,
if this was an issue to the first place.
Real and raw is what the people want, Pause.
And the reaction to it. Now, I understand that the reaction these days to the outrage is to simply say, you're too sensitive. You want to cancel me. This isn't freedom. You being outraged by every little thing. But this kind of speech is not a little thing.
He's wearing a T-shirt that says, women go back in the kitchen. Well, like, what are we doing?
That's not what it says.
It said women in kitchens.
Touched on that.
If your wife can't cook, just say that.
we kind of got past that.
If your girl can't cook, just say
no, it's just a comic shirt. Like I seen a big worm 2024 like logo shirt, just like that,
and have introduced this vile hatred into it. While being platformed, while being legitimized,
looks like it, right?
As the former president of the United States sits next to Dana White, the head of their company, at big marquee events. It's just as it's on ESPN. I asked Jimmy Pitaro, what gonads are you going to show me in this instance? Because that pay-per-view is on ESPN Plus. That is on ESPN Plus, and I know Disney is an inclusive company. I worked for it. You say nothing. You know what? You were right, Dan.
You salty.
End of the segment. I have till
he had to back off when he dropped Disney's name.
Seems like
I'm glad you made that. Made us play that video, because while the UFC isn't going to do anything about it, I would challenge ESPN to make a public statement on this.
Wow.
Because that kind of hate is going over their airwaves. The Walt Disney Company.
Dana said a public statement on it.
Yep.
He said,
freedom of speech.
Are you a chicken shit? That you allow this?
The guy because he don't believe what you believe.
But it's never been.
This is coming from the guy who's under the table, flicking off, holding.
Women alone in the kitchen, a gun in every hand. Disney's a family company. Hell,
he never said that.
Take family out of it. This is revolting. You have that guy's last name on a pay-per-view.
Yep.
At the very least, condemn it.
Now, and that's what they do. You see at the end, misinterpret what you say just to fit their narrative and try to paint it around. His shirt didn't say that. His shirt said a woman in every kitchen and a gun in every hand. And I'll ask you right now watching this, when you get hungry, you have a wife. It's all right to go out and eat sometimes. That's okay. But you don't want your wife to cook for you? Like,
someone's got to cook.
I used to love it when my mom cooked. Shit.
Like,
I love that.
I'm hungry. Would you
I think it's an underlying. I think there's an overall message where it's men need to provide and women are at the home. I don't think it's literal women in kitchen.
I know it sounds like it sounds like slavery, right? Like making that statement just sounds like, we're stripping women of their rights, and oh my god,
I'm not saying. I'm just speak for myself. I'm not saying what you say.
No, I'm saying that's what people are taking it as.
What you said.
That's what people are taking that shirt as. You know what I'm saying?
Those guys. I think everyone else thought it was like a jerk or a joke shirt. It literally says his name and it says 2020, like he's running for president. Like it's
I ain't never came home and the girl's cooking for you and cooking dinner.
Trigger someone like
don't that smell good?
Exactly.
Dave Chappelle said
it. I don't know. Apparently, you're not allowed to want a woman to cook for you.
And then I ask this, as a woman, somebody breaking in the house, you need protection. You want me to come down? What I'm supposed to come down there with? A baseball bat? Would you rather me have a baseball bat or a gun?
I'd rather you have a gun. I'd rather have a gun.
You feel what I'm saying?
Because it should be in everyone's hand, right?
Isn't it more lawful for you guys to use a gun versus your hands anyways? Since you guys are professional fighters?
Be better for him. No, this is flat. But nah. Yeah, so that's just all. We kind of I got a lot of my thoughts out. I just wanted to talk about this just because that's crazy and the things, just how everything went down. And if I will say this, I don't know for sure if that had anything to do with the swayo and how but if that did, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
I think it did.
There shouldn't be any reprimand for somebody speaking their mind.
Actually, that's a good point.
Huh?
That it was in Canada, so that's actually a good point.
You feel what I'm
how
saying?
soft the media was. What are the chances that the commission might be like that too?
You know what I'm saying? Because that's where they were clamoring to. They were clamoring to their like-minded people. Like he said, bro, he went as far as everything. He went from I'm gonna flip you off under the table. I'm gonna prey on your downfall. Hopefully you get knocked out for somebody else to do it. Oh, ESPN, I know you should do something. Like, he literally clamors to anybody to do something because you don't like what somebody else
and that
says.
He can't.
But this is my question and I really want to know if you gentlemen on the show, if you actually see this clip outside of this statement, are you involved in the LGBTQ community in any way, shape, or form to where you would feel this emotionally driven and attached to it? Like, are you involved? Do you know somebody? Are you out there in society trying to help these people? Like, I want to know how involved and committed you really are to be this emotionally invested.
Well, no, you heard him. He thinks everyone should just ignore it, not even solve it, just ignore it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like I'm gonna be honest, I know people that are trans,
right?
I got friends I grew up with that are gay, and these things, right? They just want to live their life.
Yeah, they do.
That's it. They just want to be free to do what they want, to do as they please, to feel how they feel, to love who they love, whatever.
They want freedom of speech.
That's all they want. They just want freedom. But ironically, the people that are clamoring for them want to take freedoms away. I think that's really interesting.
I'm gonna play Dana White's response to that reporter too.
I want to go back. You were talking about, like, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone, and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there?
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying
a leash.
Like
free speech. I control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people. I don't fucking tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes.
That should be
on any of them.
Never eyes.
What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want. And I don't think there's any. We had two gay women who fought in the co-main event. They sat on the stage with Sean Strickland. They could give a shit what Sean Strickland thinks or what he says or what his beliefs are. Or what his
just want to live their life.
You know what I mean? Go ahead. What do you got?
Hey, literally the best answer.
That was the
response,
point.
and that was just a perfect everything. And I'm like, you know what? And in the words of the reporter, because he had nothing else to say, we're just gonna do that. We're just gonna move on. If you don't like what somebody has to say, it ain't for you. It ain't your stilo. You know, you don't want to support this guy's pay-per-view. Just move on. Don't do it. Focus on your life, because a lot of the people that, like I said, like he just said, Raquel, they live in their own life. You know, even earlier in this video, when my critique on their fight, how I felt about the fight. Do you think they give a fuck? They don't care.
There was a reporter that asked them, actually, on the press conference. They asked him about his statements. And Myra, that's her name.
Myra Bueno Silva.
She said, I love Sean Strickland.
Yep.
And he was literally talking about how he doesn't like that women fight in MMA. They're sitting right next to him in the same sport. They see him and they're not even offended. Why are you offended?
Because they don't know Sean. And then a lot of people try to say, oh, he's violent. It's like, if you have never met Sean Strickland in person,
he's so nice.
Like he's one of the kindest, most respectful, cordial people that you'll ever meet. Like the dude is of the utmost respect when he's talking to you and he's speaking to you and he's communicating to you in person. I challenge anybody outside of some assholes that may have crossed the line or some things, or he might have had a gripe with.
And also, let's not forget, swear words aren't hateful. A lot of people swear, they just use dirty, rough speech. That doesn't mean they're being a dick.
I'm not going to speak on it like that. I'm just saying, from mine and any of the people that I've brought around him, it's been nothing but respectful.
He's been wonderful.
But yeah, so this has been another Real Behind the Reels. I want to thank y'all for coming in and helping me break this one down. There was a lot to unpack on this. Like I said, we all come from different walks of life. And we've had enough, bro. People just want to live their life. They want to be able to think what they want. You know what I mean? Say what they want. Obviously, saying what you want to. Man, fuck that. Just leave people the fuck alone, bro. People just want to be able to do what they want to do, want to live their life how they want to in peace. They should be allowed that. And you got a problem with basic rights like protecting yourself, freedom of speech. I just got one thing for you, buddy. I don't want to
on top of the table.
I don't want to get
under the table. You got to do that under the table.
We got to do that. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, under the table.
I'm sorry. I'm not fake. I'm going to leave that to y'all, though. This has been a Real Behind the Reels, y'all. We out.